Welcome back to The Great Journey.
A
great journey.
We are six friends dedicated to re-exploring the vast universe of Halo, one installment at a time. We'll be covering the books, graphic novels, films, and of course, the games, and we'll be discussing, learning, and reminiscing along the way. Charlie is my name, and after a slew of diabolical PvP showings, I'm once again your humble host of this episode. With me as always are my fellow co-hosts, Jim, Tom, Robbie, and Will. It's James's birthday today, so we gave him the night off to celebrate. Happy birthday, James, from your friends here at The Great Journey.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Last episode, we continued through Oblivion, covering chapters 7 through 12. Let's recap. The Force deploys to the desert planet of Netherop in the objective of capturing and recovering the downed Covenant freighter Steadfast Strike, aka the Lucky Break. The crew is forced to land far away from their objective and begin the long trek across rough terrain. Seeking shelter, Blue Team scouts ahead and begins to see signs of civilization on the uninhabited planet. Just as the abandoned Night Watch is destroyed when Covenant forces capture it, Fred glimpses human children roaming the desert mountains. The grueling conditions force Blue Team to proceed to the objective alone, and en route, they foresee and avoid an ambush. They instead capture the ambushers and find that groups of child nomads roam the planet on outdated spider mechs. Their ancestors were deliberately stranded on the planet generations before. John orders Kelly to hide the children for later extraction, and Fred, Linda, and John push on to complete the mission. Meanwhile, Nizat, Kavoresci's plan of luring the Spartans for destruction, while also planting the bugged luminal beacons for human capture, continues as planned. That is, until a Covenant fleet arrives to Netherop to capture his rogue crew and bring justice for their crimes. Pushed for time, he switches gears and decides to bring the beacons directly to the humans instead. With no known questions and corrections from last episode, we're just going to jump right into the journey. Tonight, we gear up for more of Halo Oblivion, covering chapters 13 through 17. Starting off, chapter 13. We've had John and then Fred's perspectives. Now we get inside the helmet of Kelly. Tasked with stowing the castoff somewhere safe before catching up with Blue Team, she carries the children on makeshift sleds. Finding proper shelter, she tells the children to wait until the Spartans get back, or the trailing Marines find them. She hands Lena a pistol for protection. With that, she takes off in the direction of Blue Team. On her way, she notices a Covenant Spirit dropship descend to the planet and decides to intervene. The vessel lands behind Blue Team's location and drops a pair of Umbra troop carriers. Worse yet, it appears the Covenant troops are also made up of a group of special Spartan killer elites. Kelly notices nearby movement and turns to find that the castoffs did not follow her orders to stay put. She provides them grenades and allows the children to assist in a planned ambush. Kelly acts as a decoy and draws the attention of the Umbras. She's able to kill a handful of elites, but one Umbra takes off and doesn't take the bait. Leading the other, she passes the awaiting castoffs, and they rise from their hiding spots and drain the remaining enemy shields with grenades. Kelly mops up, and after notifying the rest of Blue Team about the incoming Umbra, has the castoffs get on board the other, and they're going for a ride. Thoughts, chapter 13.
I'm liking the interactions with Kelly and the kids. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the part where she trusted the one, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but with the gun, when she hands her the gun.
I want to say Lisa. It's not Lisa. Lena.
Well, yeah. So that was a nice moment right there. Building trust.
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth sort of bickering here in this chapter. I realized that, every section in basically tonight's readings were pretty long chapters,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was spent just like kind of conversing between the two, Ellie and the castoffs. And I was almost to the point where it's just like, let's get this going, sort of thing.
It's starting to pop off a little bit. I'm interested to see, like, even larger scale. I'm interested to see what happens with these kids later on in the book, what the resolution is for their storyline.
Well, I guess on that point, there is something I want to bring up, but it's for a later chapter. So, curious though, yes, what will the fate of these desert kids be?
I like how, I know listeners can't see, but in the show's notes, you put in quotation Spartan killers, because, I mean, none of these guys have killed a Spartan yet.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a good observation. Well, their names aren't They're not living up to their names.
Yep.
You know what they're actually called though? Are they the Silent Shadows or whatever they're called?
I don't think there are any silent shadows in this like rebellious crew in the flotilla, but they are like spec ops. So there are like spec op elites in there. Like I'm not sure what
Well,
they're called off the top of my head. Like I know they use the word ranger a lot.
actually, honestly, these aren't from Vorsi's flotilla. These Spartan killers that landed were actually from the is it fleet of Swift Justice? They could have, in theory, they could have
Oh,
the Silent Shadows on there.
oh, okay, yeah. I didn't even really catch that was from the other group of Covenant.
I thought in one of the later chapters, I could have misheard it or misread it, that John, or maybe it was Nizat, I can't remember. Somebody mentioned something about them wearing the same armor as the soldiers that were tracking the Spartans on other worlds and stuff. Like he mentioned the Silent Shadow. It might have been Nizat that said that.
Um, yeah. Well, if you can find a quote to kind of back that up, I'm not picturing exactly when you're talking about, but I guess I was under the impression that these guys were arriving with all this new, fresh equipment, all these bodies to throw, and I thought they were going after Vorsi. Took it as they were part of this, part of this.
Yeah, that's what I thought from the last one, like maybe two chapters ago. They still sent somebody out
Yeah,
after Kavorsi.
I found this one little piece right here where it's like chapter 13. Most were armored and standard blue harnesses of common elites. About a third wore a black armor with a deep red tinge, a color scheme that was all too familiar. One of the Spartans' earlier Operation Silent Storm was tasked with Task Force Shama, and then they basically go into how they ran into that deadly Covenant unit wearing that same kind of armor. So I think it is one of those silent shadows.
Right. I mean, it's
But
we
yeah,
we
you're
we
right,
agree on
Tyler.
that. That they're from the other fleet coming after Kavorsi.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also why the one peels off. I mean, they have a Spartan right there. If the idea is to kill Spartans, then why take off when there's a Spartan killing you? I think they're on a mission. They're on a different, separate mission. So that's how I took it. Maybe we can follow. We can follow
Yeah, I
up on
mean,
that.
either way, like, if they're going after the Spartans or if they're going after like the mutinous group with the luminal beacons, either way, they would be sending in like their best guys to get either one, their best unit.
That's true.
So in this chapter, I guess there's a point in this chapter, and then other chapters coming up where, and honestly, other chapters previously, where John keeps thinking he's like, he feels like something's off with how the Covenant is conducting this battle, right? And he keeps thinking like this seems like this is a trap or something. But then he says something along the lines of like, well, they're aliens and they just don't think like humans, right?
Yep.
And so he keeps saying those sort of things, and I just wanted to bring that up because I guess there's a point I want to make later, a different situation, but
I mean, that's something I've noticed too. I mean, it's not just in these chapters, but earlier in the book when they're on the other planet, he thinks the same thing.
right. I'll save my point for later down the line because it happens, it pops up one more time, so I think that'd be more pertinent time to talk about it. Another quick touch here. Lena, the little cast-off girl, says something along the lines of like John 117. Like she's talking to Kelly, right? And she's like, "You're John's favorite," and Kelly's like, "Don't be daft." And is like, "Why do you think he left you with us? He doesn't want you to get hurt," sort of thing. So like, do you think that Chief is crushing on Kelly here? Is that the vibe I'm supposed to get from
totally.
that sort of statement? Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, I thought we were just like a family, but
Like, yeah.
totally, John's
I never thought of him that way.
crushing on Kelly for sure.
Or do you think it's Lena trying to drive a wedge in
No, it
this
seems
blue
genuine.
team?
Oh, you
I
know
like the
what?
theory. I like the alternative theory, but I don't think they're that like because these kids I don't know. I think I wanted to bring this point up later, but now that you mentioned that, Tom, like the way that they're writing these kids is a little like conflicting at times, where it's like, oh, they go, "What is time? What is a day?" And then it's like, but then they know like certain, like they know some military strategy, and they figured out how to use, the mountain walker things, and sometimes they act like children, and other times they're thinking a little more critically and adult like. So I guess you could be right that this could be one of those times where it's like, oh, they just suddenly decide to be deceptive and do something really intelligent,
I
try
never
and shake shit up. But
I never considered that, Tom, and I kind of do like that idea where
it is a cool way to think about it.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, you're right. Like, they don't know what a day is, but how do they not know what a day is? Like, don't they have like a star that they rotate around, or like, are they like fixed in the interplanetary medium with no rotation? Like, I don't get it.
They bring up like they know what the UNSC is, and they have these learning modules that their ancestors left them.
Right.
They don't know what a day is. So there's some stuff where it's just like, okay, you would think they'll know what a day is. I mean, later
Right?
on, they know some models of different ships that were popular back in the day, but they don't know what a day is.
Yeah. And later on, I think they say that they're. Yeah, maybe we're spoiling things, but they said like 3 generations they've been marooned.
Yeah, right. They kept track of
Like,
that.
right. They retained their deep hatred for the UNSC, but
Right.
can't remember
But
time.
not time. Yeah, nobody had a watch. I'm glad you guys are noticing that too. The inconsistency there is just kind of funny.
But I did like the moment of like Lena being like, "Yo, I think there's, John has something, you're special to him," and Kelly's like, "Nah."
Yeah, I think with something like that, I think the intention was that it was meant to be a real legitimate comment, not necessarily to kind of throw her off guard, but it definitely, I mean, it did disarm her like emotionally for a minute, where she was like, Abba, Abba, oh my God, Master Chief.
Yeah.
anyone any further thoughts on chapter 13? All right, move on. We're going to move on to chapter 14. With a fleet of swift justice in orbit, Nizat Kavorsi must switch gears. Instead of stashing the luminal beacons on board the Covenant freighter, he will instead bring them to the humans. His fighter group approaches the enemy salvage ship. Shots ring out and the battle commences. His focus rifle particle beams destroy the enemy turrets, while the humans launch an assault with foot soldiers and warthogs. Kavorsi orders his fighters to take the canyon between the opposing sides, and Kavorsi and Kosi use harpoon-launched zip lines to cross the gorge. The plan is to somehow set the beacons where the humans can acquire it. Casualties mount quickly on both sides, until it appears that the humans are forced to retreat down some sort of ancient roadway. Nizat must once again pivot and announces that they need to pursue for any hope of keeping his desperate plan alive. Yeah, again, I'm really interested in, any Covenant perspective here. And it's cool that we see a battle commence, from the eyes of the Covenant fighting humans, right? Because I'm not sure we've had that before, where you got ground.
No, we totally have. In I can't remember the damn books now, but the second book we read,
Contact Harvest?
no, shit.
I think you're thinking of Contact Harvest, like
Yeah, maybe I am.
one of the brutes. I think we got some perspective from them when they were fighting on Harvest, I think.
Well, I guess unpacking that just really quickly, the first contact meeting, I was told in the humans' perspective. There were other times when they use like Jotuns to explode some ships, I guess, but I thought this might have been one of the first times. But anyway,
I think you're right then, Charlie. I must have been doing extra credit and reading ahead in the other books, because I totally did read the Flood book.
oh, out of order.
Oops.
Big spoilies.
Yeah,
What's the
spoilies.
flood?
Yeah, right. No idea.
What is
Nothing to worry about.
Flood?
Who's the flood?
Nothing to worry about.
A lot of water.
Poor water management. Yeah.
A lot of
Poor drainage on some planets.
Anyone, any thoughts on Kavorsi fighting humans?
I do like how they're talking I think we brought this up in other chapters, how they have like really religious names for all of the military positions. And they're talking about the humans, like science tech priests or whatever. I forget, that's from Warhammer, but
Discovery priests.
discovery priests or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that. It's just so funny.
Yeah, I think it was in this one where Nizat's like, oh, we'll look good in the eyes of the gods if we defeat the Oni.
The Oni.
Still going on Oni being like a huge religion. We stop the Oni.
Yeah,
The gods
it's
will
just-
appease the gods.
Yeah, they do a great job writing that.
The founder of Oni is from Ohio State.
Wait, is he really?
Oh. I don't.
Missing something?
Yeah, it's the joke. I don't know if I have to explain the joke. It's not funny, so we're gonna go.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Okay.
whatever, dude.
That's okay.
Robbie got the joke.
Hope our listeners do. I don't want any more threatening voice memos on Instagram.
All right, the Ohio State. You don't know that. You always
I know that.
put the in front
The
of
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yep.
So Nizat's talking about the Oni.
Oh, got it. All right, I'm there. Pretty good.
So yeah, that's my 10-cent joke that is now a nickel.
Where's James with his cricket soundboard?
Yeah. Damn.
All right. So remember when Nizat went to High Charity and he seemed pretty consigned to his fate. He was prepared to die, and then he kind of, obviously 180'd and got out of there. I think he says something in this chapter that like he's confident that if they succeed now in this plan of, stashing the beacons, finding Oni, even killing some Spartans, that they'll be redeemed by the Covenant leaders. Like he thinks that he's if this succeeds, he'll be welcomed back. Do we think that do we think that would happen potentially? And B, do we think that's a kind of a 180 from what he was alluding in the previous chapters?
I mean, I think that even if he succeed perfectly and this whole plan worked and they completely destroyed, quote unquote, Dione, they would fucking kill him. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Like, he committed treason. He killed people, in his escape.
Right.
Like, they would take him out no matter what, in my opinion.
I'm in full agreement. The Covenant is not an understanding. They're not a singular race, but not an understanding group. I think they're gonna be like they would totally just trick him and call him back in for a meeting and just be like, yeah, great job, and then kill him.
Like, basically, he rebelled against their power in a way, right? And that's totally like a threat to the prophets. Like, they would make an example of him so that everyone understands, like, you follow your orders, you do what the prophets tell you to do, and if you don't, these are the consequences, even if what you do like is actually good for the covenant.
Very well put. Hard agree. It's definitely like no matter the outcome, him stealing the oh my god, I can't remember the name of the things right now. I'm blanking on all the names.
The luminal beacons.
The luminal beacons, thank you. Him stealing the beacons alone is just like a slap in the face to the high command and any of the prophets. And they're definitely not going to let that slide.
You guys are just thinking like humans right now.
True. True. Damn, got me.
Guys, I need to eat my words here because I reread this section and he wasn't talking about forgiveness for himself. He was actually talking about somebody else. And him thinking that he would be forgiven would make him do his duty. So let me just read this here. He's talking to another elite named Wayodosi. He told him to go do something, right? So, quote, Wayodosi will take over in my absence. Forgive me, Fleet Master, but I must speak freely. Wayodosi is a coward, a cunning coward, Nizat said, and one who will have 8 intrusion corvettes at his command. Once he sees that Oni has taken the bait, he will execute my plan, and hope that destroying Oni is enough to win the Hierarch's forgiveness for following me. I fail to see why we should have pleasant thoughts about Weyodosi's forgiveness, Lukosi said, if it comes at the price of our death. Because with Oni's destruction comes vindication before the gods, Nizat. Attach the second pod to the other side of the breastplate. We will be redeemed in their eyes and return to the path of divine transcendence. Have no fear of that. So Nizat's actually, he's not thinking that he will be forgiven by the hierarchs. He'll be forgiven on the path of the gods, right?
On the say it, Charlie. On
the great journey.
The great
journey.
Yeah. Yeah, so rereading this section definitely changed the context and what I was trying to say earlier. So
Okay, Charlie, I misunderstand things all the time.
Thank you. We're all idiots together.
Yeah.
It shows how deeply religious they are, just as a group.
Totally.
Right.
Isn't there like a zealot class of elites?
Yes.
In Halo Reach, I know one of the armor sets that you can pick is a zealot armor for your elite.
So they're in pretty deep.
They're in deep and they're not getting out.
I like the Covenant perspective of the battle, the tactics they're using, the command structure. It's very like honor based and based on, how do I say this, like personal relationships. And then you get all these other little tidbits about the elites. Like there's this part here where he's talking about the plants on Nizat, the plants that kind of seem like they're animals, but also plants at the same time. And he says here that it reminds him of the carnivorous gulag trees, which the farmers on the elite home planet use to deal with agricultural pests. So, like, you never think of the elites as growing their own crop, but here we have it that, I mean, they have their own society just like us, and they grow crop and deal with agricultural pests on San Helios. I think that's their home planet. So just getting tidbits like that, and he's really cool. Fleshes out different races and stuff. In Contact Harvest, we got a lot of that for the grunts and the Jerohane. So seeing some of that in this book is cool.
You bringing up Sangheli farmers makes me think of that meme where it's like, it ain't much, but it's honest.
What a challenge.
There's just some elite in overalls on
right.
on Sanghelios somewhere. I gotta make that meme.
Yeah, we need James back for that one to have ChatGPT do that one.
Yeah.
Or the American Gothic painting.
Yeah,
they're elites.
That's even better. Yeah,
this is perfect.
That's really good.
James, we need you.
Yeah, damn it, dude.
All right, we're a little bit pushing time, but there's one more thing I want to bring up here. I want to bring it up because it's a little bit of a foreshadowing potential, I believe. Nizat orders Lukosi to basically stay back. He wants him to protect, the beacon, right? And Lukosi goes, as you command, but I trust my calm head will not keep me out of future fights. And then Cavorsi responds, when we storm our first Oni base, you will lead the charge. This I promise. So when I read that, I was like, I wonder if they're going to storm an Oni base and if Cavorsi will lead the charge in that one. So just wanted to bring that up. Let's move on to chapter 15. Chapter 15. John, Fred, and Linda approach the UNSC Wheatley recovery vessel and find a group of castoffs in a battle with a group of Covenant elites. As the castoffs attempt to destroy the aliens with their microwave weapons, Blue Team sneaks up from behind and quickly dispatches the remaining elites. Spartans and castoffs then come face to face in a hesitant standoff. Castoffs wanting control of the Wheatley, while the Spartans want to make for the Lucky Break frigate before more enemy arrives. John learns of the Wheatley's crew, now on the run from the Covenant, and he's again faced with a dilemma. He needs the crew to captain the vessel to recover the frigate that Blue Team still has to capture. Splitting up is the only option. Promising passage off the planet and a sharp fin corvette, John convinces the castoffs to accompany Linda in rescuing the crew, while John and Fred make for the lucky break. And then we'll move on to chapter 16 as well. Shifting back to Amelia Petrov and her stranded group of Marines, the commander is baking in the sun and nearly losing her mind. A handful of Marines have already perished on the planet's harsh heat, and she begins to think that she's next when she observes a Covenant Umbra making for their position. Except it is captained by Kelly 087 and what appears to be a child. Kelly arrives and fills in the situation, but hastens to move to get back to Blue Team. The Umbra only has limited space, and when Petrov orders the cast-off children to disembark, Kelly subtly disobeys. Perhaps the native children could be useful, Petrov gathers, and with that orders the remaining spots filled with Marines to return to the fight. 15 and 16, any thoughts here, guys?
A lot of back and forth between the Spartans and the castoffs. You know, they're trying to suss each other out. You know, the castoffs have a hard time trusting them.
Yeah, I see you made a note here, Charlie, of how heavy these interactions are with these castaways, and yeah, I was kind of feeling it by this time too. It's just how many different times can you realize that these kids don't know what time is, or like
They really drive that home.
they just think there's always some sort of double crossing going on, and it's
Yeah, it's like
makes me tired just to read.
We just did that with the group of 3, and now we're gonna do it again with a whole nother group. Again, they
Yep.
distrust you. We get the idea, Yeah, and it was just pages and pages of back and forth dialogue when ultimately they end up working together. I think that's the obvious conclusion at the end of this whole situation. We could have gotten there a little bit quicker, but it's whatever.
I did like them fighting, like the cast-off fighting the Covenant, and when the chief like looks down and sees that they're putting up a fight against those Covenant. I like that part.
Right, you get a little bit more view of this microwave weapon that the castoffs use.
I was surprised that some of the castoffs are old enough to be in like their early 20s, and I was not expecting that. I thought this would be like a Peter Pan kind of situation where they're all like younger than 13. But no, there's actual some adults, within the cast-off group.
Yeah, they did say that they're older, like teenagers to up to 20. And obviously, Chief is just guessing their age because apparently they don't know what years are. But how old are you? I am 1,364 moons old. I don't know. But
What's a moon?
it's a moon.
What's a moon?
What's a
That
moon?
is so
What's a
true.
moon?
Yeah, it's interesting, how the dynamic, I guess, of these cast-off children. And I think you asked this last week, Will, like, why are there no parents anywhere? Why are there no adults anywhere, really? Yeah, 20 years old is a little bit older, sure, but like, it's weird that, yeah, there's no older generation still sticking around. At least that we see. Maybe this is them just telling this, because all we have is information and what they're saying, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm excited to see their little kid encampment. Again, I'm picturing the Hook movie with the Lost Boys. I want to see that. Everything powered by like water.
Charlie, you could be onto something that the elders are just like some 30, maybe 40-year-olds that are just living in those that cave system that they got going on.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, earn your keep. Go find us food.
African warlord child soldier situation.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're pirates, or at least that's what they thought they were, but they're pretty clearly insurrectionists, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. Good predictions.
I want to bring up something that I really, really, really liked, and I'm not sure in which chapter it is, but there's a scene where I believe it's Kelly, or it might be John's crew, but they run into this scene where they keep on finding like the bodies of that one crew, that ship crew.
That's the next chapter.
Oh,
It's chapter
okay.
17.
Okay, I'll just bring it up on chapter 17 then.
Does anyone else have anything to say about 15, 16?
I like that. I mean, John's promising them a bunch of stuff. I'm not sure if he's able to actually like deliver some of this stuff. Like, oh, you can get a free ride to wherever planet you want to go to.
Mhm.
I mean, is he in a position to be promising these things?
Right.
Or the what is it called? The Corvette? What's the ship that they
Shark
want?
fin Corvette,
The Shark Fin Corvette.
which is a
Like,
sweet ship name, by the way. So sick.
yeah, it is. You know what? I mean, is he in a position to promise these things? Is he lying to these kids?
Yeah. It's an interesting thought, Try
He might be lying.
try to get them to just go along with it. But I think we'll see in the next chapter as well, is he honest about helping them off the planet or not? So let's get on to chapter 17, and then you can bring up what you wanted to say about the bodies, Will, and I'll touch on
Okay.
that point. So all right, last chapter of the night, chapter 17. John, Linda, and Fred and the other castoffs finally make it to the Wheatley and survey the remnants of the battle. Curious why the Covenant would rather chase a group of scientists and soldiers than protect their freighter or capture a UNSC vessel, the team is still pushed for time. John issues orders. Linda will accompany the castoffs to rescue the Wheatley crew, while John and Fred continue on to the Lucky Break. As the pair near the objective, the freighter suddenly rises from the grave and floats off down the planet. Stunned, John and Fred then turn around to worse news. The Covenant Umbra is now in sight, and a group of 10 Banshees is descending upon their position. With no other choice, the Spartans turn to fight, driving off the first wave but dreading the next. Desperately issuing a distress call on FleetCom, they get relief in the form of friendly strike fighters called Nandos that sweep in at sonic speeds and eviscerate the Banshees. Over comms, Blue Team then learns two things. Good news, it appears that the Covenant fleet orbiting Netherop is firing on its own flotilla, ? Bad news, the UNSC task force in orbit is under attack and will not last long. Petrov orders John to complete the mission, even if it means sacrificing the castoffs, the Wheatley crew, or even his fellow Spartans. But John is in command of the situation on the ground, and he's willing to take his chances. Down, 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 down. So, if I can start here, going back off what we were talking about earlier, is John being honest about helping the castoffs get off the planet? He's promising all that stuff. He wants them to, work with them. Here's a situation where Petrov is like, get your objectives done, and leave them if you have to. And John's offended by that. And we finally get a tie-in to the comic that we just read, which is called Collateral Damage. You guys remember that one? Did any of you guys catch this?
You're gonna have to spell it out for us, Charlie.
I mean, that's the one where they teamed up with the insurrectionists, and then in the end, they leave the insurrectionists to die.
Right, exactly. So here's a quote. John, there are 18 more castoffs just like her in the gorge with Linda, John said. She went after Wheatley's crew, and they volunteered to support her. Petrov, can't Spartan 058 extract alone? John couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. Was Petrov really suggesting that Linda abandon the band of castaways and the crew of the UNSC salvage vessel to be slaughtered by the Covenant? Yet that was even more ruthless than the orders Commander Yao had given on Alpha Corvi 2, and not something John intended to allow. So,
Oh,
we finally got a tie back to that comic where, like Will said, where they had to leave the band of rebels on the planet after promising that they work together, they'd get extracted along with the Spartans. That didn't happen. So
Damn, A+ catch there, dude. That's a good one.
I was waiting. I was like, somehow it ties in, and finally, here it is. It was one sentence, so it's worth it.
Never forget those rebels.
Yeah.
I mean, is it any wonder though that like our child soldier, our boy, Lizan Al Gaib, is sympathetic to the other child soldiers, toughing it out there?
Also fair. He's going straight Fremen.
Yeah, right.
He's eating the spice.
The spice melange.
John says he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a moral character.
I mean, I don't know if Kelly or even Linda would do the same. But Spartan 117, he's a good guy.
Also, Petrov knows that John is a young kid too, right? I think she's one of the few people that knows what his real age is, or at least has speculated.
He does know. Yes. Well, what is your point with that?
I think that when push comes to shove at some point in this story, that that's gonna come up. I guess that John's age is gonna come up again at some point between him and Petrov when it comes to these abandoned kids.
Interesting.
That one thing I was going to bring up before that I really like is, so it's Kelly that runs into like the blown up Warhog with like dead crew members and soldiers, right? Or is it John?
It was John and Fred in
Okay.
the beginning of this chapter.
So what I really liked about that is it reminded me so much of Halo CE, where you're just walking around Halo and you'll find that exactly that kind of scene, where you find like an overturned warthog and there'll be a few dead bodies and a health pack there, and you're like, oh man, what happened to these guys? And it just reminded me so much of Halo C on like Silent Cartographer or Halo, the second mission. Like you run into that a lot in that game. And that scene in this book reminded me so much of that. I thought that was cool.
Very true. Yeah.
You caught that too, Charlie?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I guess I didn't think about it until you brought it up. But yeah, it sets the scene. Like you said, you stumble upon it and you can't help but wonder, like, oh, there's something happened here. These guys look like they got killed. Like, maybe it foreshadows some sort of big boss fight coming ahead or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, it makes you. It kind of like fills in the scene a little bit better. Kind of enriches that experience. So
Yep.
I agree with that.
Can I go back to that one Covenant chapter real quick? Something that I thought was interesting about that chapter is that the elites, they can't stand the heat either. Nizrat is talking about how like we're gonna start losing people as well because we can't survive in this heat, just like the humans can't survive in this heat. And I thought that was cool.
Cool little addition in here, chapter 17. Apparently, the Covenant got smart and started using UNSC shipboard AIs that they captured these vessels, right? And they would use the AIs to send out bogus like transmissions to soldiers and captains, in the area, to the point where these pilots are starting to like question any errant sort of transmission that comes through. They're like, can you confirm that you are actually who you say you are, sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought like during Contact Harvest, like when they were messing around with the AIs, weren't the Covenant like, yo, this is like heresy, messing around with this stuff? So I wonder if something's changed in their rules
Or more
or
likely
what.
it's just a retcon, but that's a good point, Will. That's a good point.
When Lighter Than Some was messing around with that stuff, and oh man, I forgot that grunt's name. He was a real one.
The dab.
The dab, yeah. He was just like trying to cover that stuff up because like, dude, will get us killed instantly. But you're probably right, Charlie. Just like retconned it.
Anyone else? Any other points they want to bring up?
I'm excited to see what happens next.
I guess, as an ending point, I want to bring up the fact that John brought up Sam 034 one more time in this chapter, and his recollection or his mind has changed on that whole situation. It appears where he said that he can't control all the factors in combat. Some of them are just random. Sometimes you just get lucky in these sort of situations, and that kind of like lifted the burden of guilt that he felt on that situation, and also allowed him to kind of become less attached to his own mortality in a way. He's like, there's only so much I can control in a combat scenario, and sometimes it is just, things happen that are lucky or unlucky. So I thought that was kind of an interesting.
I
Go ahead, Will.
I got like mixed signals from reading that, where in one part he says like he's moved on and he's been able to grow from that situation, but then he starts that whole conversation with him saying basically to himself that he thinks about that moment every single day. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, that's kind of like, I mean, he's traumatized by that, Sam saving his life. But then the next chapter, the next section, the next paragraph, it does say that, you know,
Mm.
he doesn't really hold it, he doesn't feel guilty about it anymore. But it's definitely something that's, traumatized him if he's thinking about it literally every single day.
Oh, definitely. Well, to me, it just kind of showed a little bit of maturity coming from him. I mean, being a kid, that's tough, and I mean, I'm sure it's such a traumatizing situation that, yeah, of course, it's gonna come back to him every single day. But I think being able to get past it and just keep looking forward and understanding that shows a little maturity on his part, enough that you can't call him son anymore.
Right. Don't call me son. I'm glad I'm glad you said that, Robbie, because that was really why I wanted to bring up that situation. Is talking. It seemed like in the last book, Silent Storm, the theme kind of was him becoming a proper leader, right? And I guess it's just another situation where, like, as a person, as a commander, as a leader on the battlefield, there's some things you can control, and there's some things that you can't. And yeah, that just, like you said, it kind of shows that maturity as a master chief, if you will.
Something that I hope they dive into deeper in the chapters to come is, it says here that they're seeing the different groups of Covenant engage each other in space, in orbit of
Netherop. Yep.
Netherop. Yeah, so I think that's super cool. It's one of my favorite things in Halo and some of the later Halo installments is, Covenant on Covenant violence. So maybe we'll see some of that in the coming chapters. And I think that would be super cool.
I think it'd be cool, but you got to consider that Nizat is on the ground, right? He's on the planet surface.
Mhm.
So, like, if they were to show this like orbital Covenant on Covenant battle, whose perspective would it be in at that point? So,
The coward.
We'll go see.
Yodosi? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, then, yeah, I'm stoked if they go there with that. Good discussions, everyone. Any further thoughts here on chapters 13 through 17?
I like John standing his ground, more confident. It's clear that Petrov definitely wanted him to do something else, and he was like, "We're on the ground. I'm in command." And he stood his ground, and he stood for what he believed in and what he thinks is the right decision. And I'm proud of my boy.
Very true. Again, a little bit more maturing here. There was a part earlier in the chapter where John was saying like he was kind of upset how quickly this whole operation was thrown together. People are getting killed. The plan's going to shit. And he said something like the next time he gets put on one of these operations, he's gonna speak his mind instead of just going along with it. So yeah, like I said, he's learning to stand his ground to authority.
Yeah. One last thing related to that is it looks like we got confirmation that it was a trap. They know it was a trap now because Lucky Break just fucking powers up, takes off, and starts leaving. And they're all looking like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't look broken at all. So, I mean, that kind of goes into what you're just saying, Charlie, where it's like we knew this shit was a trap, and you're playing with people's lives, and you're playing with the Spartans' lives, sending us on this stupid fucking mission when it was so obvious that it was going to be a trap.
Right. Yep. Curious to see how they're gonna fight their way out of this one. So,
Same.
all right, good discussions, everybody. So our discussions complete. Let's compete. It is now time to switch to our season 2 PvB tournament. Tonight's match is brought to you by Brawny Bungee Cords. That's right, bungee cords. Engineering marvel that has lashed your problems down for centuries. You strap that spare gauze to your Warthog, bungee cord it. Those ammo canisters keep shifting mid-hot insertion, bungee cord it. Pesky grunt prisoner keeps slipping for escape, bungee cord them. Any problem, big or small, bungee cords can tackle them all. Due to teetering intergalactic tariffs, we've got our warehouse chock full of bungee cords and are offering an unprecedented deal for listeners. Buy 2 brawny bungees and get 2 free. You heard that right. Buy 2 brawny bungees and get 2 completely free. Jotun armature left hanging? Bungee cord it. Feeling frisky? Bungee cord he, she, it. This ain't no tease. But wait, there's more. Act now using promo code TGJ at checkout and you will get free FTL shipping on your entire order. This deal won't last forever, so act fast to secure your 4 for 2 and free shipping on your brawny bungee cords. Brawny bungee cords. Get strapping. FTL shipping, intercolonies only. Brawny bungee cords is a product of the Strap-on Corp.
Bungee cord it.
Now on to our PvP tournament. Here's a recap of Season 2, Match 12. Will once again picked our match, so we battled a swap match played on Powerhouse and Halo Reach. Rocket snipers and now DMR headshots are no problem for James, who adds another victory on the season. Here's your updated tournament standings after our 12th match of Season 2. James with 47 points, Will with 34, Charlie and Robbie tied at 28, Jim 18 points, Tom with 14. The match pick wheel was favorable this week and has selected Robbie to set the stage. Robbie, tell us, where are we playing this evening?
All right, well, hopefully we all have our maps downloaded. We are going to go Halo 3, and we're going to do Crazy King on Epitaph.
Epitaph, Crazy King, Halo 3. Nice. Love it, love it, love it. If you like what you're hearing, let us know. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. We're on most major podcast platforms, and we'd greatly appreciate your likes, your comments, and your follow on these platforms to help boost our visibility. Will Blue Team capture Lucky Break? Will Cavorsi succeed in his plan? Will sacrifices need to be made on either side? Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to give us your input on the media, the topics we discuss, and even your ideas on how to improve or what we should cover next. We welcome you to join the journey. If you feel like supporting our show, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. You know, with it, we can offset costs of hosting platforms, editing software, music subscriptions, and, of course, the actual media, which are the things that allow this project to keep rolling. We aspire to be an interesting, thoughtful, and fun contribution to the Halo community. As a TGJ Patreon member, you will receive a shout out on one of our episodes, and you can ask us a question that we can answer on air as well. You know, you can ask us something like, if you lived in the Halo universe, guys, would you see yourself living on an inner or an outer colony?
I feel like I'd be any. I mean, I love living in the city here, and, you know, it just feels like outer colonies are going to be a little too desolate. And now I just realized I said any like an insurrectionist, and maybe I am.
I feel like I'd probably be an innie as well. I mean, there are things super appealing about the outer colonies, you know, being out in the wild west, almost got that kind of feeling. But in the innies, you know, you got all your comforts. You know, I bet a lot of the stuff is cheaper. I would assume, right? Like different products. I mean, I gotta imagine it's kind of like living in some like remote place in Alaska. Like, you know, you're not gonna find some like Kobe beef restaurant in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. You know, so I'd probably be in any access to all the stuff that you love.
Oh, hold on. Are you guys misusing any? Yeah, you call innies the insurrectionists.
I think they're all saying inner colonies, though. Yeah.
Inner colonies,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Why not both?
Insurrectionist, any?
Mr. Nieto over here.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm staying in the greater Chicago industrial zone.
Man, dude, I thought if any of us would be an Audi, it'd be you. But Yeah. Are you same sort of mentality? You wanna be around the things, not away from the things?
I don't know. I might actually go to some outer colony if it was an actual choice. Like, not somewhere that's like too far away, not like in the boonies, but somewhere where you can still, have like a restaurant and like people around, but you know, not freezing your ass off in the middle of nowhere kind of
Let's
stuff.
consider that, Contact Harvest took place on Harvest, which at that time was the furthest planet ever inhabited, right? So it's an outie world, and it didn't seem like it seemed like it had, a city and stuff like that, right? So
I mean, I
How
could
many
be
people
wrong,
did it have?
but I think it only had 300,000 people on the entire planet.
oh
I
my
mean,
god.
it's like, I think. I mean, we could fact check
How quick
that, but
No, that kind of sounds like what I was
how
thinking.
quick would it take you to Tinder match everyone on that planet?
more Jotuns than people.
More Jotuns than people. Jim, what are you thinking?
Oh man, I think I'd be an intercolony bootlicker too, but I'd have my "Don't tread on me" flag flying. Insurrectionists within.
So you're an insurrectionist innie, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Come and take it.
I agree with you guys. I mean, there's definitely things that I would, want to be closer to. I wonder if bands, make it out to the outer colonies on their intergalactic tours.
Black Crows are not coming.
They're making a stop way out there in the boonies. I don't know. Then I also think that I might be like a snowbird sort of situation where like I'll have my any residence and then got to get away to the outie world.
Yeah, you got like a homestead that your Jotuns take
Right.
care of when you want to escape it all.
Yeah, the lake house.
Do you think they have like super
Bound.
popular bands that like go planet to planet and they've got like groupies that travel in with them
Gotta
in like
be.
their spaceship?
100%.
Just like what's that Disney movie with the girl in space?
I want to see a Halo Almost Famous.
Like-
Yeah, right. Almost. I was thinking Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century.
Oh my god.
Intergalactic pop stars.
What's the song? It's like zoom zoom. You make my
Super.
heart go boom,
Is the
boom.
guys. Yeah.
My supernova girl.
Supernova. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You never saw Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century. Zetus Lapidus? Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, add that to the watch
Supernova
list.
Girl.
Add that to the watch.
Protozoa. That's the name of the pop star.
Protozoa.
I haven't thought about that in such a long time. Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome, dude.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it's a Disney Channel original movie from the late 90s. It's great. Everybody's still using flip phones though, even though they're supposed to be in the future.
It's funny.
It's great.
All right, well, with that, guys, we ventured deeper into the Oblivion. Next episode, we conclude our read on Halo Oblivion, covering the finals chapters 18 through the epilogue. As always, thank you for taking the journey with us. We'll see you for next time for the next thrilling installment of The Great Journey.
The Great
Journey.
Happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, it's James, one of your hosts here on The Great Journey. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to connect with us, you can find us on most podcast platforms, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, at The Great Journey Pod. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Thank you for your listenership, and we'll hope to see you for the next chapter of The Great Journey.
Oh shit! And I forgot I was going to bring this up first. I guess quick host discussion here. Tell me what you think about this. I got a direct message on our Instagram account from this dude. He followed us, and I guess he was listening to our episodes. And I want you guys to hear these because he sent voice recordings.
Hell yeah! Fuck yeah!
And I'm not entirely sure what to think here. You'll see what I'm gonna say.
Oh God!
This might incite some conversation. Okay, here we go.
Hell yeah!
Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
We got our
We got him hooked. Yeah, we got him.
Woo! Got to get through
What's his
episode
name on
1.
Instagram? Yeah,
Got to get.
we gotta give him a shout. We gotta give him a shout out.
Yeah. Ask
Tell
him.
him send him a
question.
Yeah, send him a message. Tell him he's gonna get a shout out in this episode, so he listens to this. Keeps going.
His name was Halo McFarlane Collection on Instagram. So
Halo McFarlane Collection.
Yeah,
his name was Halo McFarlane Collection.
Shout out to Halo McFarlane Collection for that insightful feedback